yes, especially for you younger guys, that is a real radio. That is actually broadcast from AM 940 Montreal. Well, a good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Mostly gentlemen, right? Cars are still really definitely a car guy thing, but it's always nice to see the chicks who have an old car here and there. Not still never many, but you know, hey, Rome wasn't built in a day, you know. Or as I mentioned recently, when I made that long video of the overview of the classic cars at the Granby show in Granby on last Saturday, when I went thanks to my friend Olivier Bonnet, and I saw a black guy or two, and I was mentioning, I was like, wow, look, there's a black guy. And again, it's of course not for snowflakes to freak out over. It's not a racist comment. It's just that unfortunately the old car hobby, for me being visually impaired, I still don't have a driver's license to unfortunately pilot these amazing machines. But again, it's a dominated white man, older white man, you know, middle class, upper class, whatever you want to call it. So it's nice when you see people who are not white bread. You know what I mean? Here's some of my models, which are pretty much not for sale. These paintings are still for sale. Come on down and look at the collection if ever you're in Montreal here. I'm on the Rue Cuvelier in the East End here in Hochelaga. I'm about not even 10 minutes from the Jacques Cartier Bridge. Some of my original paintings, photos. I have thousands of original photos. I have a lot of enlarged photos, even cars, trucks, buses. Anyway, so without further ado, I actually finished this a couple of days ago. But I think when I finished it, it was in the afternoon. I was just jonesing to get out of here, get out there. It was a sunny, beautiful summer day. Today is the last day of July. We're going to turn off the foretops here because it's starting to distract me. And anyway, I actually took my time with this. Well, that is to say that it was a priority, but it was not a commission. And I took my time on it, no rush, different reasons. For one thing, my neck was hurting me a lot from constantly, you know, having to bend over and get, you know, mix up the paint and the water and the right mixture, and then always looking down for the right photo and all the details for this car. Then of course I was busy with orders and listing stuff and going outside and filming things. As a matter of fact, here's the picture. Here's half of the picture, I should say, that was on listed on a Montreal Then and Now group on Facebook, and then I cropped half the picture for this. I said, wow, this is amazing. It's, I mean, not only is the Esso sign classic, and it's on the corner of Van Horn and DeCarry. That building is still, by the way, still Fire Station 4. And not only is there a 59 Buick in the background there, but also because the 60 Meteor is an arguably much cooler version of the 60 Ford. It is a very rare Canadian car. As a matter of fact, all the 60 to 61 Meteors are rare cars. And I've only actually ever seen one of them. Speaking of Granby, it was 25 years ago, 26 years ago, that I saw a four-door like this. I don't remember it being a deluxe model like this one, though. I actually got confused. At first, I wrote on when I started painting like 3 weeks ago or whatever, saying that it was like a Meteor Rideau. And then I looked up the Rideau, and I think that's what I took a picture of at the show in Granby 26 years ago, and it didn't have all this trim here. It had this guy here, and then it stopped there, and there was nothing over here. Now, also, what's really cool too is you got this. This is an actual veteran taxi, which was the name of the company. I'm not sure. I think it might have been local, and so I thought, yeah, I'm going to tag that in the picture. I remember seeing their signs when I lived in the NDG sector. They served NDG, Côte des Neiges, Hampstead, Côte Saint-Luc, the whole West End, but the thing is, the picture was taken in 63, and I thought to myself, well, I'm like, I don't really like the Quebec license plate in 63, because every year they were different, right, like most places, and it was white with the black lettering. I'm like, I'm going to make this car look pretty much like new, and so I put the really nice Quebec black plate with the yellow numbers, and, you know, like California. And then I thought to myself, well, I'm going to have to, I'm like, am I going to do this as a fire chief now? Because now it looks like a fire chief car with the fire station in the background. And I'm like, no, we're going to stick to the plan. And I did, if you guys remember, if you guys really follow my videos in the old cars, the paintings I do, a few years ago, I did a painting of a 59 Meteor You couldn't really tell it was a wagon, but anyway, put Alberta plate on it, and I sold it to Marlene out in New Westminster, BC. One of my biggest fans of my art. And when I say that, just like Scott and Evan, you know, that's just, they bought a lot of stuff, so a lot of my paintings. And so I said, well, this one I'll put the white walls on it, because in 63, 62 was the last year for wide, large, or some people call them gangster white walls. After that, were just like a skinny line, just like the blue here on the oval sign. And speaking of Evan, one of my biggest, youngest fan, I think he's 26. He lives out in Long Island, New York. And again, same interest: vintage trains, fire trucks, dump trucks, buses. And I'm actually going to be doing a classic EMD. I think it's a GP9 or GP38, something like that, locomotive for him. And that's about all. Why don't you watch me take a swig here once again out of this cup that I literally did the drawings for these cups back in 2002. I do make a fine Timmy's coffee. So anyway, you know, when I was in Granby, I actually met a couple of cats who were interested in my artwork. One of them, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's got a 60 Cadillac Eldorado Seville, which is not the most common, of the 60 Cadillacs. And also, sorry, not a Seville, he's got a Fleetwood. And then there's another cat I filmed last year. I met him. It was a 58 Mercury Colony Park in black. And I think he says he's interested. I showed him the picture of this in my phone in the glaring sun. He was like, oh yeah, I want you to paint my car, you know. So I'll have to get in touch with him eventually. But Evan is next. I'm starting that today. I'm going to go out, but it's going to be mostly cloudy today, which is perfect. It doesn't lure me to go outside. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? I can't believe nobody bought this. I'm telling you, sometimes people I find are just not old school enough to appreciate history. Look at this. Original 1936 Buick ad with young people. Look at that. Fantastic. I found this frame. Obviously, must have been a wedding photo probably in here, imagine, or some precious darlings of a family. I mean, this is a beautiful, high-quality chrome metal frame. This ain't the, like, cheap thing, you know, so... Anyway, that's it, guys. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Be well. I always appreciate your comments. And, again, you want me to paint something for you, the vintage prices for something like that. I forgot to mention what this guy's going to be. Well, this guy's going to be $300, but it's going to be... I think it's about $250 US, if I'm not mistaken, $260, $265, something like that. Anyway, and obviously, if like one of my other fans, Mr. who I met recently, who came with his wife, I met Mr. Jeff Kennedy and his wife Dorothy. They came over, and he had already paid. He bought the TTC New Look bus painting, and I painted that front of that restaurant for him there. Patat. So again, if you have some dough like that and you can permit yourself, I will do some good deals on more than one painting purchase. Well, I already do good deals as it is. So yeah, I still got the Andre the Giant with his Cadillac, and I had mentioned his in the video when I filmed this, but I'm certain that must have been his Cadillac. I'm sure. I mean, he's got his hand on it. That's probably the only Cadillac he fit in there. Speaking of Fleetwoods, because the Fleetwood was more expensive than a sedan DeVille, which looks just like that, but the Fleetwood was actually stretched a bit longer. It was more like a limo. Anyway, take care, guys. All the best. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.